Hello and welcome back to Leeds United, Real Madrid and Liverpool today. Bumper episode, we're doing all of them. Strictly speaking, we could do Liverpool twice. That's because we got Real Madrid in the FA Cup semi-final, which immediately follows Real Madrid again. But we might tally that with a Chelsea match that follows instead. Don't really want to overburden with results, especially if we're playing Liverpool now in the match. That kind of matters a little bit more because 8 points behind, winning that game would make things interesting. Just give them a chance to look over their shoulder a little bit with the 8 remaining games after that. If we lose that, then the Premier League's basically irrelevant. But just the small matter of Real Madrid first, as we take on the quarterfinals there. A few games played since last time. Stoke dealt with in the FA Cup. Man United 1-1, not best pleased with that one. And 4-1 away at Norwich was particularly nice. As Norwich haven't been awful this year, they are sort of the worst of the okay teams. Still 4 teams fighting for 2 relegations, or not to be in 2 relegation spots, really. West Brom's still on 7 points with 8 games to go. They could genuinely break the record for worst team ever. And because we've got to play 3 very important games in a row, I don't know what to do. We are at home for the first leg of Real Madrid, so we'll play 3 across the middle. I think I get 12 substitutes for the Champions League, so which you have enough players to have someone spare. Poor Charlie Crosswell's staying at home. But we have to go full strength. Karnasecki and Dika, Verissimo, Milinkovic, Valeri, Adams, Szoboszlai, Almada, Livramento, João Pedro and Milovanovic. Just the 24 goals in 26 starts for him. Szoboszlai has hit 20 goals. You're a midfielder, Dominic. What are you doing? I'm not arguing, but what are you doing? Ancelotti's still in charge of Real Madrid 4 years in the future here. They've acquired Gakpo here, along with Declan Rice. We've played him already in this particular season, of course. It didn't go well. I hate how good their bench... They've got Camavinga on the bench, along with Lucas Hernandez, Matthias Tell, Theater, however you pronounce his name, Lamar. They have just raided Bayern Munich, I'm well aware of that, because Koeman's there as well. Although I think Lamar via Atletico. Lamar's definitely Atletico, right? That's a controversial one. I may have just been confusing Lamar with Koeman, but they happen to have both. Koeman's the one at Bayern. Yeah, gone via Inter here, but an Atletico player is Thomas Lamar, concerningly. All right, first leg. For editing purposes, I'm hoping for 3 very effective minor highlight games. But they're sort of playing in their Palmer Violet away kit, which not that dissimilar to Leeds' away kit from last year, I believe. Or third kit from last year. Got much nicer third kit this year, if that was the case. Can't beat a black and orange kit. I mean, it's so far so tidy, but I still got to go 1-0 up against Bayern Munich in the other game. 0-0 at half time. Not really a lot to talk about. Vinicius Jr. is a bit tired. That seems to be about it in terms of revelation so far. But Alaba seems fine behind him, so I'm not really willing to target that particular side just yet. Alaba actually playing left-back again. Valverde, a former friend of the channel as well. As Real Madrid tried to build out from the back here. Militao, Tchouaméni. Koeman released. Koeman definitely released by a poor tackle and then, well, actually good tackle from Undika. The only one on my back line not to be booked at this point in time. Could have been a penalty. Oh, I'm fed up with that. People just running down the sides of the pitch in particular, stopping, turning around and being dispossessed. It's every game, like 2 or 3 times, well, depending on how many highlights you see, I suppose, but every game. All right, Adams, tired. Livramento booked and playing awfully. Gottschling on. Valeri is playing well, though. Gottschling, of course, the player that we acquired from fellow quarterfinalist Stuttgart. They brought Tell on, I think, and he's already tired, which is interesting. As more and more players get absolutely knackered. Awar on for Almada. Might have to let Szoboszlai ride this one out. Valeri's playing well, but he's tired now. Can't let that continue. I need fresh legs. I'm going to have to let Szoboszlai run himself into the ground, unfortunately. I do need some quality in that midfield going forward. And we'll make a late change for Milovanovic, who's the more tired of the 2 strikers. Gomez on. Let's hope his inexplicably good ratings carry through here for the last 5. Literally anything would be nice. And I've just killed whatever highlight was there with a shout. Oh, 0-0. I'm not happy with that performance. So it'll be the same 11 against Liverpool. We don't have the disadvantage because of our exploits in Europe, just purely because Liverpool have also played in the Champions League this week as well, so they've got a similar problem. But we will play the defensive version. I have flipped complete wingbacks to wingbacks on this version as well, because obviously the idea is to be more defensively solid. So there we go. I was intrigued to see what Liverpool's formation was, because I saw Lacroix in what seemed to be a midfield role, and it is a midfield role. He's playing DM ahead of Ostergaard and Fabinho. I mean, you've got Lacroix and you've got Fabinho. Football Manager's at it again. Put them in their natural positions. Fabinho in the DM, Lacroix as the centre-back. It's not difficult, Football Manager. The players are there, their preferences are there. Play them in the right way round. Especially as Fabinho appears to be knackered. His His heart's not appeared yet, but I can see he's a darker shade of green than everyone else. Milovanovic, dispossessed, kind of. Livramento on the ball. Milenkovic, Adams. We'll find Livramento on this right-hand side. Finds Almada. Puts the ball in. Szoboszlai with 2 attempts at it, but gets it second time. Dominic Szoboszlai 1-0 at Anfield. What is going on? It was Fabinho's missed interception that led to the goal. Maybe you shouldn't be playing him as centre-back. Andy Robertson were not the best pressing there. Almada with the time to... I mean, it's a great ball through, and Fabinho kind of blocks Alisson's view more than anything. I wouldn't say missed interception. I'd just say he just blocks his view, frankly. Man United have been beaten by Bournemouth at home. This could be a week for wild results. Come on, Tino. Let's make it 2. Milovanovic. Back out to Tino. Great vision from... Oh, never mind. I say great vision from Milovanovic, but Tino wasted the opportunity. If he'd put the ball in, that would have been much better. Milenkovic tries to head for the ball. Oh no, what have we done? That actually looked like a Verissimo own goal, but apparently Salah's actually hit the ball. This wouldn't be as annoying if it didn't happen basically every other game in some way, shape or form. But what is the decision making from Tyler Adams there? The goalkeeper's coming out, there's no one near him. Pass it to him. I wouldn't even minded a pass back. As long as he then didn't pick it up, of course. But you just got to call it out as you see it and move on. Like, frustration doesn't serve anything at this point in time. Milovanovic, Livramento, Milovanovic again. Lovely ball across to Pedro. Would have preferred that to be the way around, in terms of the person who was heading it. But that's not the end of this highlight, I don't think. Ostergaard. Ah, that might be why. Anything we can do, they can do worse. Well, that's made me feel so much better about the previous one. Okay, so we're effectively back at 1-0, just because both teams have decided to be utterly useless defensively there. What a mistake from Alisson. If anything, I don't know which is worse, because Alisson's kicked that straight to him. Ours was just an attempt to do something with the ball that's gone horribly wrong. I think ours was worse. Technically the better side going into break, but it's not a lot splitting the two, as I think Rodrigo, however you meant to pronounce that, has gone off injured. He has indeed. Carvalho on. Still slumming in out as a squad player. Oh, I've just encouraged the lads. Oh, that's actually fine, apparently. 2-1 up at Liverpool. Encouraging, still fine. They brought Thiago on. Lacroix's gone into centre-back role. Fabinho's off at last. Doak has come on. If I'm not mistaken, Doak, I think, is a bit of a wonder kid for Leeds. Not sure if he's real or new gen. I just remember seeing his name somewhere on a high potential list. Either in-game or out-of-game. I just can't remember where. Livramento. Hooked out to Valeri, who's injured. That's not good news. Still moving, though. As Dominic goes again, Alisson has to tip that over. But Valeri's going to have to come off and will probably miss the next match by the looks of things. Adams is booked on a 6.3 rating. Tino's booked on a 6.7, but also tiring. So we'll move Evan and Dicker forward and bring Colwell on central defence. I don't really have another good DM. Like, Santos can play there. He's not good at it. I'd rather have someone who's capable of tackling there rather than someone who's capable of passing. Although I think Ndika's not bad on the passing front either for a centre-back. Good. Intercepted. Skov. Colwell. Skov. Don't really like how we're playing this, but we have got it to Pedro. And they don't have a lot of people back, but they are recovering now. Pedro. All the way back to Colwell. He has got the ball. I don't know what Colwell's doing there, and there's a highlight somewhere in that. But take a better man than me to find it. Skov. Whips the ball in, doesn't even get to Ndika. I don't know what the point of this whole thing was. As even that's not gone anywhere on the counter for them. I mean, Dominic's tired. Do we take Dominic off at this point? I think we might have to. We've still got a fifth. I think we've got another substitution window available to us, so we'll hold on to that one for emergency purposes. Evan Ndika's kind of most in line to come off, but I don't want to do it. Verissimo, Milenkovic stops the ball. Gottschling now. Hasn't been electric since he's come on, but Livramento wasn't exactly tearing that side up either. More game time for the Wonder Kid is always nice, though, there goes Ndika to injury. Was that Diogo Jota just deciding to murder him? It was, yeah. He collided with Diogo Jota, apparently. That's what we needed. Well, Santos is having to come on now. Oh, poor touch from Liverpool. Gottschling capitalises. Milenkovic. I know it does happen to the AI, but you don't see it very often. Colwell. Verissimo. Colwell. Skov. Okay, back with Colwell. Aouar. Verissimo. Finds Gottschling on the right. Gottschling still with the ball. Milovanovic into the penalty box. And he said Adams was there. It's Aouar. Saw an A. Assumed. I shouldn't do that with my team because we've got Aouar, Adams and Almada, who's now on this corner and taking his sweet time with it. Speaking of, actually, yeah, we'll just do a bit of some wise time wasting. I never like permanent or maximum because that just invites stuff. But Aouar still going with this, and that might have gone out for another corner via Trent, but we don't see it. 6 minutes of injury time. Please don't Newcastle us. What a victory. That is not just important for the title race and just 3 points for us, but of course it's reduced the gap to 5 to Liverpool. But last time we played Liverpool and we beat them at home, they lost to Man City in the game immediately afterwards. So, if they can falter here, and I also believe they lost their Champions League game before that. But those 3 points came at a price. Evan and Dicker, 3 days, that's okay. Valeri, 2 days. Oh, thank God. We'll have a quick nosy at their schedule. Yes, they did indeed lose to Barcelona. We've got to play them again in the FA Cup again after this, of course. So if Barcelona can do something here, and if we can do something in the FA Cup, that would be a hell of a morale tank. Not the hardest of run-ins. Ironically, Everton, the toughest of them all. Oh, Chelsea are 5th now, so they're not that difficult. Much better season from Chelsea this year. But Coco wants a new contract. Year and a half. He's got a 5% wage rise. Good, yeah. You be quiet, you sofa. You got like 3 years left on it, and you got a 5% mandatory rise regardless. The whole point of putting 5% wage rises is to stave off that kind of thing. By the way, not only did Carnesecchi be able to see it again, he actually went up to 11, not just 10. I love, by the way, the fact the board still only wanted us to be top half, which is now guaranteed. Liverpool couldn't overturn it against Barcelona, who did get a 96th minute equaliser in the game itself, which might knock their, or at least stifle their morale that they could have got by winning the game itself. But the aggregate loss is still going to hurt them. Milan overturned Man United as well, which was remarkable. Milan actually done that twice in 2 rounds now. So sticking with that formation, Evan Dick, unfortunately, whilst okay to actually play the game, hasn't quite got back to full conditioning. So Colwill will start, who's actually developed into 3 stars, I now realise. And Valeri's conditioning isn't fantastic either, so Skov will start. I think everyone else, despite having played 2 games in a week, might be okay here. They might get tired a little quickly, but I think everyone else might be okay. You know what? I'm going to make a risky call as well and bring Goshling in from the start over there. Just because Livramento has been massively disappointing in the last 5 games across the board. They line up the same way, I think. Although Gakpo's up front, which I'm not sure he was last time. Pozzo puts the ball in, Rudiger under it. Shimani gets to it eventually, but Pozzo again. Dominic not doing the best pressing there. And it's cost us. Not a fan of this lack of defending from Dominic. I know he's a CM attack, but I don't know what these defenders are doing either. Let's be real. Like, neither of them are marking him. Both of them are central defenders. Neither of them are really doing anything that could resemble defending. But Skov's on the ball. This is confusing. Veresmo's put it in. Didn't realise it was our highlight at first just because of the inverted replays still. I have still no idea why it does that. There is nothing here that says invert it. It just seems to be the director is the opposite of TV for whatever reason. I can't remember how the Stuttgart-Bayern Munich game ended last time, but it might have been 2-1 Stuttgart, so Bayern Munich currently overturning that in their game. Skov to Veresmo, Milenkovic, Gottschling. Doesn't get to Zobozai. That was ambitious because Rice did exist in between the 2 of them. Gottschling gets that ball, kind of. Nope, never mind. I thought that might have been a red card for a moment, but seems to have not been. Gakpo going all the way. Kick us straight to Carnesecchi. The further Gakpo went there, the more confident I was that wasn't going in. Coman somehow doesn't get dispossessed by Adams there. Alaba had to double check the numbers. Vinny Jr. has been left behind by Milenkovic twice. Pozzo in no marking, although Coman is the one to put it in. I don't know why Pozzo didn't have a crack himself. He had all of the time in the world to do that. There's so many defensive question marks here, starting with Milenkovic, who just leaves Vinny Jr. alone twice. Then there is, where is Adams here in this situation? The man who should be here, not even making any attempt to get back over there at all. And then Skov not even marking the man who's kind of effectively his opposite. That is disappointing. Shimeni hooked across, attempted to get to Alaba, but Milovanovic cuts that out. It was ambitious and weird, but I don't know who that was. Was that Vinny Jr. trying to get back there? Milovanovic on the ball. That should have been a goal. Okay, Rudiger booked is interesting. Vinny's been booked as well for them. I'm not hugely disappointed, but I am going to shout at them and tell them they're terrible just to get the motivation. We're focusing play down the Vinny Jr.'s Alaba side just because Alaba's not the best of defensive fullbacks and Vinny's booked. And now nothing is happening. Tino and Al are on for Almada and Gottschling. And we've got a highlight at last as Alaba kicks it against one of our players and gets it immediately back. Shimeni now finds Vinny Jr., who's just walked through our defence. Milenkovic does something eventually to sort of stop that, but shouldn't have got past him in the first place, as Bayern Munich have destroyed Stuttgart in the end. That's a disappointment for them. Well, there's 10 minutes to go. We've kind of got to go for it a little bit more. We'll bring Joel Linton on for Adams, who's tiring too. Skov's tiring. Valeri can come on now, I think. And Pedro not having his best one. Makoko will come on for the last 10. I never know whether to bring Makoko or Nketiah on, because Nketiah and Milovanovic seem to have a bit more of a link just professionally than Makoko does, but Makoko's just the better player. Livramento also haven't sort of amended any focus play down left or right based on what's developed here. Alaba's playing attacking playmaker on the left-hand side. Yeah, I think we're still focused on that side. And they are playing another centre-back turn left-back or vice versa in their left-back role as Hernandez has come on there. It's threatening their goal, but it's not gone in it. I'm going to have to go attacking. It's a good showing from Leeds in this Champions League, but it does effectively end this particular season here because I don't think we're going to catch Liverpool, even though we have just beaten them away from home. If their morale tanks, I will bring you back at the end of the season. Milovanovic misses. Oh, that could have taken it to extra time. And I would have ruined the away goals situation as well. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't brilliant. If we just got something in that first leg, it would have made all the difference. But we have to keep an eye on what happens to Liverpool going forward. 9 million for playing the quarterfinal as well. That's just nice money in general. Brings our finances closer to our transfer budget, which is still 50 million. I didn't use it. But we do have an inherently tougher end of the season. We've still got to play Chelsea as well in the league, along with Arsenal away from home. Effectively, I think both ourselves and Liverpool have got Chelsea and then a tough opponent away from home. Theirs is Everton, who are third, and ours is Arsenal, who are a better team, but in seventh. Of course, we've also got our perennial nightmare Wolves on the final day. So if Liverpool falter, I'll bring you back at the end of the season. I'm not going to bring you that FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool. I know it's Liverpool. We've just played them. But it's kind of like one of those games where it's, if we win, great, we're in the FA Cup final anyway, I'll bring you that. But if we lose it, then it's irrelevant. So I'll bring you back at the end of the season. It might be the final game against Wolves, depending on what happens with Liverpool. But it might just, at the same time, be the FA Cup final if we get past Liverpool. Either way, I'm going to bring you a game. If we're not in the Premier League and we don't get through the FA Cup final, then I'll still bring you Wolves and it's just more of an exhibition match. But either way, one more episode this season. If you've enjoyed this episode, as disappointing as it may have been, then do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. One more season probably likely here. I don't really know what format it's going to take because I feel like at this stage, sort of doing all the stages, all the rounds, I know it's a journey, but you've now seen effectively every stage of the journey. So until we sort of break through that Champions League knockout stages or getting into the final stage of the season and we're challenging for that title, Premier League-wise, I'm not sure if I should really bring you anything from the first half in detail. Anyway, so I'll have a think. We've got one more episode this season regardless. I'll see you for that. Until next time, ta-ra.